And Belthasar had the first veto and vetoed RBO, and Jaychalke vetoed any percent all bosses. So now we get to see some GT Classic. All right, we do have a countdown in the SRL, so we should be seeing the race get started here soon. Good luck to both Belthasar and Jaychalke. I look forward to seeing a very close race. And we're off, and we'll start in the in-series station. It's a nice little warm-up for everybody. Let's see, Jaychalke, Belthasar matching up here, both currently sitting at 1-3, and the Swiss seems that I mean, there's a lot of really, really good runners, and of course, with the different categories and all the vetoes and stuff, you can really kind of put a runner into a situation of something where they might not be as comfortable, or maybe just however it lines up, one person more comfortable with whatever you end up racing. So, Belthasar actually attacking Ridley, strategy that we usually don't see in this boss fight. The classic in GT Classic is like a classic classic car. It looks great, but it has very little actual functionality. I believe that's why it's called GT Classic. I'm not real sure on that, though, to be honest. All right, runners dodging Steam RNG on their way out of Series Station. And Belthasar making it to the platform with a couple second advantage on Jaychalke. Oh, there we go. There's the real reason it's called GT Classic. Little did I know. Okay. So the runners have landed onto the surface of Zebes, and they'll be starting their descent to Morph Ball. Neither runner is using the Moonfall in the first room, nor the second. And I didn't catch a glimpse of their settings. I'm not sure if they even have Moonwalk, excuse me, activated. Belthasar first to the elevator. And as we progress into Lower Norfair, we will see what kind of safeties the runners are going to decide to go with. You can do some E-Tank skipping, and I believe even high jump boots skipping if you're feeling extremely daring. To do a high jumpless lava dive. All right, and Belthasar extending his lead just slightly, going up the elevator. Belthasar and Jaychalke, of course, making their way over to the bomb Chorizo. Belthasar going with a right side climb. Jaychalke using that method as well. Neither runner going for the ledge grab climb. And then, of course, the runners will be setting up for their bomb chorizo fights, which, as I've been learning, is can be somewhat scripted as far as where you set up can manipulate the first action that bomb chorizo takes, which you want him to jump backwards into the wall. So he starts throwing up chozo orbs so you can farm more missiles to have a faster fight. You want to make sure that you don't do damage that's not in increments of 100, because if you're left with something less than 100, you'll get the animation where BT's head explodes, which does cost you a little bit of time. And the main method here, as well as trying not to lose any, have any damage done to you by bomb chorizo, because you want those missile drops as opposed to the health drops that we're seeing our runners get. So Jaychalke coming out of the bomb chorizo fight slightly ahead now, turning the tide here, but of course a lot of race left. A lot of volatility in this category between the green gate glitch and actually getting the code to work properly. Of course, and some other pitfalls along the way. Last week with GT Classic, we saw some really interesting ways to end run, including exploding the Meridia tube and exiting it frame perfectly to crash your game because the pipe didn't resolve actually breaking and the game doesn't know what to do. Of course, there's things that can go wrong in stand-up. There's things that can go wrong while you're lava diving. So there's a lot of room for error in a category that's pretty quick for the most part as far as the tournament runs go. All right, Belthasar first to the early supers, as we will see our runners continue through Big Pink, skipping Charge Beam, something that you don't see super often, maybe unless you're playing Bingo, or, I mean, if you're playing Triple Bingo, I don't know if you're really deciding to skip Charge Beam unless you've got a really good lineup for your other boxes. You might have to do it more in dab when your opponent decides that you get to skip Charge Beam. And Jaychalke, I believe, making up a little bit of time there, skipping the charge missiles, if I'm not mistaken. Belthasar wanting a little bit more safety and ammo before continuing to head down into Norfair and Lower Norfair. All right, both runners going for the hero shot to get up to Red Tower, but it looks like it didn't hit for either of them. But Jaychalke's going to be the first one to get to the tippy top of Red Tower. Belthasar taking a moment just to farm a little bit on the way, using some of that energy just found to deboost out of the room. Both runners into the Alpha Power Bombs room now. Jaychalke first to get there at 9 minutes and 15 seconds. Belthasar Goes for a D boost off the germ and doesn't quite get it and falls into the flower, whatever that flower is called. So probably about 20 to 25 seconds behind, but of course, lots of time to be made up here. Samus eaters, is that what they're called? I don't think that's what they're called. Then again, I don't know. There's even an RTA category for whatever they're called. Is it really called Samus Eaters RTA, though? Vileplumes, isn't that a Pokemon? I mean, it's been decades since I've played the original Pokemon. All right, Jaychalke gets through the super missile wall here to make his way over to Kraid. Yeah, caught. There we go. Yeah, I guess that is it. Caught by every Vileplume RTA. The creativity of this community never ceases to amaze me. All right, Belthasar able to make up the time here, heading into Kraid first. So we will be seeing simultaneous Kraid fights. We'll hope that both runners are able to get no stand-up. It looks like Belthasar, a little bit late on one of the missiles, is going to have to go for a backup, but gets it, and we have synchronized, essentially, Kraid kills for both runners. It's a very nice recovery from Belthasar. Jaychalke, it looked like, maybe struggled to get in to find the door, which does happen to the best of us. And now we're really going to see what kind of risk our runners are willing to take before they start heading over to their lava dives. Tickle the fish, RTA. Isn't there also like Croc's tongue RTA or something like that? Which I don't even know how that works, but I thought that was a thing. So Jaychalke is going to grab the E-Tank on the way to high jump boots in the can room. And Belthasar is going to do the same. Jaychalke showing what happens when you play too much randomizer with soft lock prevention turned on, which I do very frequently. Forget how to get out of certain spots. Like the one Belthasar just went through, I always shoot before I actually remember I have to bomb it. But Jaychalke does make it through the first of the Hell Run rooms and into Cathedral. Belthasar following just a few seconds behind here. Jaychalke having a nice mock ball to roll across the floor in the third Hell Run room and gets through to Bubble Mountain at 14:45. So about a 10-second lead right now for Jaychalke as we get ready to head down towards Lower Norfair. And Belthasar is going to go ahead and grab a save here. Jaychalke is going to farm a little bit. And yeah, it looks like didn't take a save. So really going for it here as far as feeling confident in the lava dive. Belthasar is going to use the same refill room here. Jaychalke enters the lava dive, doesn't quite get the dive that was anticipated, but does manage to get through the lava dive without that save with 31 health. So very nicely done. Belthasar taking one more E-Tank for safety, so does have the luxury of a little bit more health here, but we are also going to see Belthasar take the save. As the green gate glitch is one of the most common reset points in these runs. And of course, after the green gate glitch and the actual GT code are entered, it really becomes a boss rush after that. Jaychalke getting the green gate glitch. Second try, no problem. Belthasar also gets it on his first round of super missiles. Is going to lay a power bomb to refill supers on the Rippers on the way into GT. Jaychalke entering the GT room and gets the code in. Also turned on the missiles, as you want to make sure that you don't take a beam shot with all of the beams activated, because you will kill your game. So turning on missiles is a safety that you'll see the runners do. Belthasar enters the GT room, also gets the code, remembers to menu over to turn off Spazer. And now we're basically looking at a boss rush for both runners, but both runners executing very well for GT Classic. GT, after you get into this room, you'll see Jaychalke and now Belthasar. You can kind of kneel on the floor between GT and that first pillar in the background, and then you can just kneel and shoot charge shots straight up, and a lot of the plasma shots will double hit, and allows for a very fast Golden Chorizo fight. Of course, both runners grabbing the screw attack on their way out of the Golden Chorizo fight. Not something that you want to grab on your way in, but now they have, let's see, I think 7 E-Tanks, 2 reserves, 100 missiles, 20 supers, 20 power bombs, and every item in the game except for screw attack activated by the GT code. Of course, screw attack right at the other end of the doorway, so very easy to pick up to continue through the game. So Jaychalke makes his way in GT Classic through Weenie Hut Jr. as Belthasar enters that room now. It's hardly the worst room in the game with this item setup. 3 reserves, excuse me, thank you. The GT code, the Golden Chorizo code, it seems to be a developer debug code. Belthasar making his way through the three amigos as Jaychalke has already entered the wasteland. Gonna be screw attacking the side hoppers here. Not K going through the platforms, but gets through the green door at about 1952. So we'll see if Belthasar is able to catch up a little bit of time here through K going these platforms. Looks like struggles just a little bit. So still about a 15-second lead here for Jaychalke going into the Metal Ninja Pirates. Belthasar is utilizing some follow plasma shots that can double hit. And Jaychalke first into the Ridley fight. And should be very comfortable for both runners, seeing how this is more than they are used to for their any percent runs. But we'll see if Belthasar is able to make up some time. Maybe Ridley gives him more favorable fight patterns. But Jaychalke is, of course, having a pretty easy go at this fight here. Does struggle to get Ridley to turn around there. Does get picked up. Belthasar also struggling to get Ridley to turn around, but Jaychalke has finished off Ridley. Not going to have any need to grab the Ridley E-Tank. We'll go on and head out of Lower Norfair and make his way to Meridia. Belthasar finishing up his Ridley fight. Jaychalke re-enters the Metal Ninja Pirate room at 21:44, so I'll use that as a way to measure the difference in time at this point. And it looks like about a 20-second difference right now. Jaychalke in the lead. Jaychalke heading up through the three amigos here and into the Firefleas room. And while the runners are racing towards Meridia, I'll use a moment here to give you guys a rundown of the schedule for the rest of the day. At 7:30 p.m., we've got Sloters versus Zost, and that is one of our undefeated matchups. And then at 8 p.m. Eastern, we've got Polar Bear Bunny and Cash Mod. And 11 p.m., we wrap up the day with our other undefeated match between Shiny Zinni and Real Cutie. So we've got some real bangers for matches going on later today. So if you want to see more Super Metroid multi-category tournament, make sure you stick around and check out the different SpeedGaming channels. And of course, make sure that if you aren't already, which if you're not following these runners, I don't know what you're doing. But as I have said before, both runners are very upstanding members of the Super Metroid community. Belthasar, one of our SRL gurus, always willing to help out and organizes a lot of tournaments for Super Metroid. Is very involved with the community. Jaychalke, of course, another very involved member of the community, one of the founders of the SMRAT, or Super Metroid Randomizer Accessibilities Tournament. So also another person that wants to see people get involved and get to playing Super Metroid and get involved with randomizers. So I'd be surprised if you're a fan of Super Metroid that you're not already following both these runners, but make sure you, if you're not, that you give them a follow. Yeah, and that's a good point, Skepticon. The runners do have grapple and X-ray as well. It's just not displayed. So we will see some microwave strats coming out here when the runners fight Botwoon and Dragon. So Jaychalke unleashing the microwave here on Botwoon and has a very well nuked snake. Exits the Botwoon room at 25:37. So we'll see if Belthasar has made up any time through maneuvering out of Lower Norfair and into Meridia. And it looks like still about a 20-25 second difference here. Belthasar getting a halfie. Jaychalke is getting set up to nuke some shrimp. It's not my preferred method of cooking shrimp, but you know, if you're in a pinch, I guess it would work. Might be a little rubbery though. Oh, Jaychalke not quite getting full nuke. Dragon a little cold in the middle. Has to pop it back in briefly for a little bit more heat, but manages to take care of Dragon no problem. Belthasar setting up for the same microwave, and you'll see Belthasar standing or kneeling here. A reason that you see runners doing that is while they do the X-ray, as soon as you see Samus stand like you just saw, that indicates that Dragon is dead. You automatically go into a standing position when Dragon dies. So it's just another way that you can know that you don't need to microwave and overcook Dragon any further. Oh, nice jumps by Belthasar to maintain speed going into the Coliseum here. It's one of my favorite jump strats to see people pull off. So very nicely done. Jaychalke having a really nice short charge there to get out of the pre-Botwoon room. And Jaychalke is going to be out of Meridia momentarily. And Jaychalke has reached the elevator at the top of Red Tower. About 28:45. And Belthasar just behind, looks like did make up a few seconds at least here going to the top of Red Tower. So yeah, this really is gonna be coming back down to execution all the way out for Belthasar to be able to catch up. Jaychalke getting his charge to fly across the ocean. Ooh, bienvenidos to SpeedGaming Espanol. Welcome to matchup, GT Classic matchup between Belthasar and Jaychalke. All right, we'll see what kind of patterns that our runners get from Fantoon here. Ooh, Jaychalke's going to play a little peekaboo here. Going to have to wait for Fantoon to pop up again, but it's going to use the microwave strats here on Fantoon. Very nicely done for the one round. And Belthasar could make up a little time here if he's able to not play peekaboo, and it looks like setting up for... Oh, just barely misses, so hits the plasma shot, but doesn't quite get the microwave to go off by not activating X-ray. So he's going to have to settle for a 2-round here. It's also going to be playing a little bit of peekaboo here. Make sure the X-ray is turned on. And there we go. Gets the microwave. Takes care of Fantoon. And of course, while all the Golden 4 bosses are down for both runners now, there is still a lot of time that can be made up or lost depending on which runner you are. We've got the 4, of course, execution and actually navigating into Turian, as well as getting through the 4 Metroid rooms, which can have different degrees of difficulty depending on how comfortable you are with them. There's baby skip, and then there's, of course, the stand-up execution, which also involves some soft locks, while having X-ray, though, which isn't displayed, but they do have. The runners do have a little bit more safety than they might in, let's say, if they were doing a randomizer. But just because Jaychalke is almost into Turian does not mean that this race is over. See what if Jaychalke decides to practice anything in this room. Just some short hop mock balls, maybe. And heading in here, Belthasar now in the Golden 4 statue room as well. Nearly an entire Golden 4 cutscene behind. But Jaychalke has landed onto the elevator platform and is headed down into Turian. And Jaychalke, through the first Metroid room, into the second one where you can group these two together. Use one super missile to kill both of them if they're close enough. Into the third Metroid room, which is one of my favorites as far as the rhythm you can get into if you practice it and executing it. It's not easy, but it's really fun when you do it right. But through the third Metroid room and now into the fourth one, going to group these three together, freeze them, and take them all out with one super also. Belthasar through the first Metroid room. And Jaychalke is getting ready for... is actually damaging down here. Maybe not feeling like messing with the baby skip. Using some pseudo screw iframe loss to damage himself down faster on the side hopper. And gets grabbed immediately, faces right to save 40 frames. And Belthasar setting up for a deboost out of this door transition. Uses the iframes to get through the side hoppers, but is in a position to make up a little bit of time here in the baby cutscene. Belthasar sets up against the far wall by using a horizontal bomb. Jaychalke uses the refill, takes the time to turn off the screw attack, setting up for the Zep skip. Belthasar starts the baby skip process. Oh, it does get grabbed, so he's going to have to wait out the feast and then face right. I'm going to take a moment to also turn off screw attack to set up for the Zep skip. And Various Suit getting ready for the stand-up glitch. Jaychalke first to the Mother Brain 1 fight. And takes care of Mother Brain 1. Belthasar gets through the last Ghidorah to go down into the Mother Brain room. And I don't think, unless you can dip into your reserves early, I'm not sure if Jaychalke has the energy for stand-up, so we might see a little bit of time being able to be made up here by Belthasar, but we'll see how the runners decide to proceed at this point. Belthasar takes down Mother Brain 1, able to make up a little bit of time there in that fight. Jaychalke is damaging himself down. Getting ready for the baby cutscene, eating a rainbow beam. Jay does not really do stand-up. Okay, good to know. I don't either. Not that I'm racing, so it doesn't really matter what I do. All right, Jaychalke in the midst of the baby cutscene. Belthasar already into the catch-up phase. Dipping into the reserves to get ready for stand-up. Oh man, Tui throwing out the real challenges. Gifting subs if Jaychalke saves the animals. What do you want, Jaychalke? Do you want a victory or do you want some subs? All right, Belthasar has stood up, is shooting some missiles at Mother Brain here. All right, Jaychalke has accepted the gift of Hyper Beam from the baby and is starting the fight here. Belthasar getting refilled by the baby while using charge shots to damage down Mother Brain 3 while the cutscene is ongoing. But Jaychalke has taken down Mother Brain 3 and is now waiting to start the emergency escape. We'll see how many shots Jaychalke has left here after the end of the cutscene. Also accepting the hyper beam from the baby. And is taking down Mother Brain 3, while Jaychalke is already into the Leodoc's room of the escape. And Belthasar is now getting the emergency notification. Jaychalke getting ready to spark up the climb. Has made his way into the parlor as Jaychalke follows into the Leodoc's room. Let's see if Jaychalke is ready to try and get some subs here by saving the animals. And that's a no, so Jaychalke wants the victory. And Jaychalke jumps up onto the ship and has finished with an official SRL time of 40 minutes and 52 seconds. And SRL is notifying me that he has improved his personal best by 6 minutes and 14 seconds, so congratulations to Jaychalke. Belthasar making his way up into the parlor. And Belthasar has landed on the ship and has finished with an official SRL time of 41 minutes, 33 seconds, less than a minute separating our runners, but GG to both runners. Very, very nice race. Very fun race to watch. It looks like we'll be getting Jaychalke to step in for an interview. While we're waiting for Jaychalke to get in, don't forget to follow these runners if you don't already. And we are joined by Jaychalke. Good game, Jay.
Thank you so much. GG to Belthasar. I mean, I was watching it on my other monitor, and oh my gosh, that was... I was sweating that entire race. It was so hype, and it was just back and forth. You know, maybe I'd go for an extra farm, he'd go for an extra farm, I'd miss a down grab and fall, he'd miss a down grab and fall. It was just, man, I was really, really worried about baby skip, because I mean, I know how to do it, but I'm not comfortable enough to actually just like pull it off like that. So I damaged myself down knowing I wasn't going to do baby skip. So what was on my mind was the lack of baby skip, and furthermore, the lack of stand-up, which I just don't do, period. I know how to do it, I just don't do it. So I'm like, this is going to be, I mean, I'm trying to add it all up in my head. You got about, you know, this much time saved for baby skip, this much time saved for stand-up. And I'm thinking this is going to come down to, you know, the escape. And so I had to, you know, make sure that my movement was as solid as possible on my way out of Torian in Meridia specifically. So I was really impressed with my movement through Meridia. I was not impressed with my Dragon fight. I think I missed the first round. I had to go on the second round. But I think what really, really helped me was Belthasar's Fantoon. I had an okay Fantoon, but Belthasar definitely had a rougher pattern than I did. But overall, it's a very, very big PB for me. It's a race PB and an actual PB of 4 minutes and 13 seconds. And this is actually the first time I did a run skipping that E-Tank at Kraid. And that was really hype for me because, of course, there was a delay on the restream, so I was going to kind of play it by ear. If Belthasar skipped it, I was going to skip it. But we were so close because I thought he was going to be blowing me out of the water. I was feeling really on fire. throughout the race. So when I was like, I can't see if he's going to take this E-Tank, so I'm just going to skip it. YOLO, baby. And I skipped it, and I managed to get Lava Dive, which was Monka S, because I think I got done with like 39 health or something like that. And then I got the gate glitch, and I finally realized that I'm supposed to pick up Screw Attack after the GT code. And my last tournament race in the multi-category tournament, I picked up the Speed Booster first, and then I had to go without Speed Booster for the rest of the run. Anyway, sorry, I'll take a breath.
That's okay. It was a really exciting race. So
It was, and it was probably the highlight of my Metroid career. I'm not used to winning vanilla categories. I'm a rando runner, usually primarily, and so winning anything vanilla for me is a very big deal because I just do so much rando. I mean, you probably saw. I mean, I heard your commentary a little bit. I was just on like this what's it called, muscle memory, doing all the checks that I would normally do in rando, and then I'm having to like change the way I think about change the way I'm thinking about how to go through this I almost said seed this game. I almost went and picked up Charge Beam. But what really upset me the most about this run, if I could change anything, it was that I didn't immediately go into the Ridley farm, or sorry, the pre-Lava Dive farm and farm up. I went through the door and then realized, oh my gosh, I only have one super. So then I had to turn around through the door, 3 extra door transitions just to farm up to 5 supers. And I was really uncomfortable after that point because I knew I had wasted 6 seconds of door transitions, and then it was just a super awesome race, and Belthasar played super well. I'm very happy that there were no deaths on either side. It was really clean and just back and forth, and it was really exciting. Yeah, I loved it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I being more of a rando person myself, I recently started doing some 80%, and I have no idea how to fight bosses without all the stuff that you get in randomizers. So it's been kind of a struggle. I know exactly what you mean when you're like, I don't need to go in this room or do this or that, and I can't ever remember some of this. What were you thinking going into the vetoes? Was there a category that you were expecting to play or not wanting to play at all? What kind of went into that decision to?
Yeah, so I was really hoping we would do RBO, and that's just because I don't see Belthasar. I don't see a time for Belthasar on SRL at least, and I'm not sure what their background is in RBO. And I know that me personally, it's probably the category that I've grinded the most, and I think and also with rando in general, you're doing a lot of hell runs. You're learning how to not get hit by enemies, and especially and so it's just what I'm most comfortable with in a race setting. And I knew I would get blown out of the water if it was 80% all bosses or 80% in general, because he has a 48 80%, and so I wanted to stay away from the as straightforward categories as possible. So this was my thought: if he had vetoed to me, so I could veto, I would immediately veto 80% all bosses, and then he would choose either GT Classic or RBO. That way, there's still room for error with Lava Dive, with the Green Gate glitch, and then the GT code itself, and then just boss rush. So my greatest shot was GT Classic or RBO. So if he actually vetoed first, but vetoed anything else other than RBO, I would veto immediately the other category to make it RBO. So I think it ultimately worked out as the way I was hoping, that it would either be GT Classic or RBO, because I was really feeling that my cards were going to be okay if I had one of those categories. RBO because I'm comfortable in it and I don't know Belthasar's background, and GT Classic because there's a lot of room for error. But what's really cool about this race is there really was no error by any runner. It was just a good race, and that makes me very happy for both sides, and of course chat and you as a commentator, and it was great.
Yeah, it was. And I think another thing that probably went into your decision is like play to those randomizer strengths, the green gate glitches, the grapple jumps, and all that fun stuff that you have to do.
Exactly. And that's why RBO was a big thing, because all the grapple jumps, the Dragon escapes, the spring ball jumps, all that kind of stuff. I'm very, 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 very practiced in because I've done many randomizer tournaments and randomizer races, and it's something I'm comfortable with. So I'm comfortable with just popping out that kind of tech. On the any percent side, it's different because I'm not practiced at all really for any percent movement. The movement is actually legitimately different between any vanilla category and a randomized seed. It's just different. And so because when you go into a room in a vanilla category, you have the same item set every single time, most of the time. Whereas with rando, you have to learn various different loadouts, and you have to have those loadouts in your head at all times. And so one player playing a vanilla category has that same loadout practiced over and over and over and over and over. And I just have like a jack of all trades loadouts where I'm not really the best at any one of them, but I'm okay at all of them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I definitely know what you mean. Learning a little bit at 80%, I think one of the things that I've noticed is how important it is to be able to chain the rooms together, which in randomizer just doesn't really feel like it's easy to do.
Right, exactly. Whew. Man, I tell you though, that lava dive really frightened me. I missed the quick entrance. I actually got hit pretty hard by one of the flame dudes that brought me down below 150, and so I was already an E-tank down. So I was like, oh, this is gonna be tight. If I get hit by flame, it's definitely over. So I'm just glad that it worked out.
Did you save in Bubble Mountain? Because I don't remember seeing.
I didn't. No, and that's why I was. And I was trying to go for as YOLO as possible. Skipping that E-tank at Kraid and then not saving at the lava dive. But I did save because I got that lava dive. I was like, you know what? I don't want to make this all for nothing. It's a really quick save. Save at the elevator and then go down. Because ultimately, if I died at lava dive and had to reset, I think it'd be a much bigger loss than missing Green Gate Glitch because it's a lot closer. Anyways.
All right. I don't have any other questions. Do you have any other last comments that you'd like to?
It was awesome to raise Belthasar. That was privileged. Thank you so much. And thank you, Android. You're one of my favorite commentators in Super Metroid. You're very chill and nice, and I appreciate that. And thank you, SpeedGaming, for restreaming, and thank you, chat, for being chat. Have a great day.
Oh, thank you so much for the kind words. I really do appreciate it.
No problem.
All right, everybody. Jaychalke, congratulations on the win, and good luck next week in your future races. I just put the plug in. Don't forget to follow these runners if you don't already. And of course, if you're a fan of Randomizer and other races, we have the SMRAT Randomizer tournament happening as well. So if you want to see more of Jaychalke and the stuff that he's putting on, make sure you check that out. That's going to do it for me. I've been Android Dreams, and I will be Android Dreams in the future. Thank you for watching the Super Metroid multi-category tournament, sponsored by Balls Guarana and Mega Cat Studios. Thank you so much to our sponsors for putting together the prize pool. Join us on SpeedGaming 2 in about 25 minutes, and where we will be able to see Sloters versus Zost. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you next race.